Pam and I are here today to donate a beautiful sculpture, a bust of Professor Wiesel, to Boston University in honor of Professor Wiesel.
My hope is that future generations of students will look at the bust and say, who is this person? And be inspired to learn about him and his teachings.
This sculpture is our way of saying thanks and to show our love to this city of Boston, to Boston University, and most importantly to Professor Wiesel for all that we received, both our education and for finding each other here.
So it was my junior year of college, and we took a class called Exile and Imagination.
I'm actually not a BU alum, but I did as an independent study when I was in my last year of law school at Harvard. I came over to do an independent study with Professor Wiesel, and that's where we met. So it was September 3rd, 1996, and one of the last people to walk into the class was this beautiful lady, and I couldn't take my eyes off of her. Pam and I became friends, but as the semester was progressing, she wasn't quite getting the hint that I had more than just a friendly interest in her. So it was time to make the move. The plan was I was going to bring in a rose. I would hide it under the table, and then after class, we would walk out together into the hall and I would pull Pam aside. I'd give her the rose and tell her how I felt. Unbeknown to me, Pam had already planned another meeting she had after that class. So we walked out of the class together. I think I got about as far as Pam. I gave her the rose. She took it and she said, "Listen, thanks so much. I really need to get going. I'll see you later. Bye."
As John said, I was in a real hurry to get somewhere else, and the class had gone over, so I didn't really process what it meant. I just took it and I said, "Thanks, see you later."
I was persistent, and I actually ultimately, years later, proposed to Pam in that same class.
After a few years after, when we got engaged, we met with him, and we told him that we were going to get married. And he said, "Oh, I knew there was something going on between you two all along." And we said, "How? How did you know that there was anything?" We were very discreet. We didn't even sit next to each other. And he said, "Well, from my perspective, you can see where all the eyes are wandering."
And then she said, "Do you know how happy we are?" I said, "That I don't know." And she said, "I came to tell you that yesterday morning, it was Sunday, my husband and I, in the morning, in bed, before we got up, all of a sudden we said to each other, look, we have to thank God for our happiness. We are very happy." But then he said, no, not only God, but also Professor Wiesel. We are happy because of him. So he said, "Why don't you go and tell him that?" I said, "Okay." So I came to tell you, just in his name and mine. Thank you. Then I realized, that how many years have I been her teacher, but it was all worth it.